that's not a good sign, then I don't know what is. What are the odds that we just saw an R33 GTR, RB26? What are the odds that we see that as we go to see our Mustang? That was pretty cool. I'm really excited today because we are visiting a car that just hasn't been enough on the channel. We got it, you guys loved it, and then we decided to go a completely different direction with this and make a car that's only been built once, but this time we're making it better. By the thumbnail, you know we're visiting the 65 Mustang with the RB26 swap in it today. That car might sound familiar because you would have seen the same build in Tokyo Drift, where Sean decides to put the RB26 inside of a 67 Mustang to honor Han. I love that movie so much that I decided that I wanted to recreate a similar car. So we dropped the car off at Rad Industries to have the motor swapped in, have the fabrication work done, which most of it has been completed, but today we're gonna be focusing on the guts, the veins, and that is the wiring harness. So as you can tell, a lot has been changed on this car, and we are actually getting close to have it finally starting and leaving Dan's shop. You guys know Dan, he's done tons of stuff on my cars before. He literally rechanged Selena, made her the race car that she is today, and when I wanted to make this possible, there was no other options.
We did a lot since you were last here, something that would stand out to the people. If you look in the engine bay, there's a lot of plumbing done, and you got some new radium stuff in here. Your radium crank breather, all these hoses that we did. Plumb the fuel system, oil system, power steering system, water system. Might have forgot something there, but there's a lot of plumbing.
So we'll go front to back. There's a lot to go over today. I know there hasn't been enough on this car. I realize that. I apologize for that. But today, just sit down, pause the video right now, go get some popcorn, go get your NOS energy drink, go do what you gotta do because you're in for a wild ride today. There's tons of stuff we're gonna go over. So when you were driving behind this car, you were gonna see the radium cell dropped underneath the car, which is very race car-like. This is where our fuel will be. This is where our pumps are gonna be. This is probably one of the most race car things about this car.
We added the fuel fill, we plumbed it all the way front to back, and then also you would notice that there's a battery here. So that's kind of back updates, and then you could see Rywire's harness is starting to connect to the pumps and whatnot. I'll let you guys talk about that though.
So having all the parts and having all the goodies is good. You need that, but you need something to control that. You need something to bring this car to life because this car had a carburetor. We went over this in the beginning. There was no ECU controlling the motor like most cars today. There's a computer that controls all the electronics and controls the fueling, it controls the throttle body, it controls all that stuff. But this car didn't have that. So we needed to add a whole new system to this car. You guys might remember Ryan from the past. We have Rywire stuff on some of our cars. Ryan, welcome back to the vlog.
Dude? How are you, man?
It has been a while. When I approached you with this project, did you think I was crazy?
No, but it certainly, I knew it would be entertaining.
Have you ever done a swap this unique before?
Yeah, actually I have.
What else have you done?
Well, right now we're doing a K-Series and a Ferrari. So, I mean, there's definitely some people are crazy.
That's okay.
They might be as crazy as you, definitely. But yeah, dude, we do weird, wild all the time, man.
So let's start from square one.
All right, let's go to the front of the car. Let's check it out. The RB26 in a Mustang. And most people are like, how do you even do that? How does that even happen? How do you even start that project, right? So for me, because I am very familiar with this stuff, I break it down, okay? So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out a way to wire up this engine. We gotta pick a computer. So in this case, we're using the AEM Infinity. AEM Infinity is controlling the engine. What I'm responsible to do is to take all these wires, make all these sensors connect to the ECU. Fuel injectors, the alternator, temperature sensors, pressure sensors, your ignition coil system. Then you got to figure out the body stuff, right? We got fuel pumps, we got lights, we have turn signals, buttons, brake light switches, all these things that are on chassis of the car. We had to use one of my PDM kits. Okay, what a PDM is it's a programmable, pre-programmed fuse box. It's about yay big, and we'll show you that later. And that's the secondary brain. So you have your AEM Infinity, and then you have your Rywire PDM. Those two pieces are gonna run the entire vehicle. So I have pre-made chassis wiring harnesses for my PDM fuse box, pre-ran for all your lights, your ECU stuff, your fuel pumps, your fans, everything pre-done. So we use that universal chassis wiring harness in conjunction with our custom-made engine harness for the AEM Infinity. That's how you can essentially wire any engine to any ECU in any body car.
So one of the cool things about this cart is being old and not being that it even had an ECU is that we had to add a complete new harness. Now, Ryan brought a spare harness just to kind of show as an example, because I think this is really cool because you're adding something to a car that never had. We're essentially modernizing an old classic in a way. This here is essentially what we started with. Now, Ryan, this is something that can be used in pretty much all applications, all features. Like Mickey is actually running the same harness in his Honda he's building, right?
Exactly. So what we did was we built custom engine harness for his Honda, just like we did for your custom engine harness for your RB. And then we have our universal body harness, if you will. So this is our programmable fuse box.
Which just, let's highlight really quick how small this is. For guys who are trying to eliminate and clear up their engine bay, adding literally this exact product is the answer for a lot of people that I don't think a lot of people know is out there.
Right, exactly. So people might not even be aware of this technology, and it's a solid state system. You literally plug into the USB and you can program it. And these already come pre-programmed, and then I give you a wiring diagram so you could literally take an output and go, oh, this says fuel pump or this says fan, and go to the fan positive and then ground the other side, and it's literally wired. If you're running a Rye-wire engine harness, that engine harness can then plug into this body harness, and you could literally wire a car from the headlights to the taillights in like a day. Basically what I'm getting at is this saves me ridiculous amounts of time, and it'll save you guys or your shop that's doing the install crazy amounts of time. Everything pre-programmed. It's the wave of the future, bro.
So because this car didn't have an ECU, we had to find a place to put it. And where do you put an ECU on mostly every race car? You put it on the firewall in front of the passenger seats, which is great because this car didn't have anything there. There was barely any work that needed to be done to clear the area for this. And notice how small the PDM is compared to the ECU. Those two boxes are what essentially control this whole entire car.
So you have your real cool AEM dash. All these other gauges are just there for looks now.
Yeah, we decided to keep the stock tack in there just for looks, but yes, this is actually the AEM CD7. We're running the same thing in the 350Z, so you guys are familiar with what this does. So this will allow me to see everything. I can oil pressure,
fuel pressure, what obviously your RPM, your engine speed,
yeah, speed, all that great stuff.
Everything. Engine harness penetrates here, goes into the ECU, and then on the PDM side, they connect. Obviously, nothing's connected yet, but you have your connections that'll be made here. And then the wiring harness runs to the front for the headlights and whatnot. And then it actually is already ran underneath all these panels. So we actually took all these up and just ran one small loom all the way back with a battery cable, and it goes to the back of the car, which we could check that out real quick. It's super easy. Everything just comes through a nice little hole right there, and it comes down. So you have your battery cable as well as your taillight section harness. And then this is the wiring harness that I built from the universal, and then I built out this for your taillight plugs. And then all your fuel pump stuff there, your sending unit for your level, and then the harness goes over that way to that taillight plug.
Car is at the end of the building process. It's almost there. So after this, Dan, it's got what? Like once Ryan finishes all the wiring, once we load up the software on the PDM, then it's just adding fluids and hoping, making sure it's not gonna go kaboom when you start it.
Basically, we'd add the fluids, we'd prime the oil, because we put a new oil pump, so you can't just fire it up and expect it to go good. So we would do, you know, some stuff like that, checking over, making sure we have no leaks, then get Danny, the tuner, over here, load up the calibration for this setup that this car has, or this engine has, and fire it up. And then we had the wheels, and then we could kind of test drive it and then check that stuff, like make sure the clutch is working how we want and things like that, and that would be about it.
Yeah, because I still haven't gotten wheels for this thing. H3's been super busy, but if you guys don't remember, the Roadster Shop chassis, which is gonna like completely transform. I can't even wait to drive this thing because this is not gonna drive like the old 65 Mustang. I don't know exactly what the chassis is based off of, but imagine if we put like a modern sports car chassis underneath this car. That's essentially what this is. So the whole underside, the whole skeleton of the car has changed from what it originally was. And in doing so, we've added a whole new brake system, and these rotors right here are bigger than the Brembo rotors we just put on the C8. Like these are way, way bigger. They're so big that we're not even able to fit a caliper on this with the stock wheels that came on this car. Like no shot. I need to find some wheels that will fit this that I can just buy, at least as a temporary hold, until I can get H3 to scan them and make us like a really cool 3-piece wheel for this. So I'm looking for something that's like a classic American style that will fit over this. I need to get those here as soon as possible because I haven't installed the brakes because I haven't gotten wheels yet. So I need to get wheels. Once it starts and we know it's safe, then we can get it to the dyno and we can actually enjoy this car and take it out of the shop and let it see the sunlight for the first time. And you know it's close when I bring all the fluid. Shout out to Valvoline, nothing but the best. We got the VR1 2050 for the engine oil, and we have a bunch of gear oil for the trans and diff. So many amazing things, so many amazing partners, especially Ryan deciding to take on this stupid project of mine, because who the hell would do this in their right mind?
Awesome car, and I'm grateful to be involved.
Yeah, right. So like these buttons right here will have stuff like headlights.
Sure.
We'll have
Headlights. So like that's why there's nothing that's actually, there's no stickers on there yet, because we need
the
to
stickers are in the box. I saw that.
Yeah,
stuff.
you saw those.
Yeah.
So we need to go through it, and we need to figure out exactly what we want to control. And he said turn signals. I'm like, well, I can do like, I have arrow buttons.
Yeah.
And it'll be like right arrow and left arrow.
So like if I'm on the freeway or I like a yield button, I could be like turn left signal and just go click, and it would turn left. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So we could do whatever you want. So we'll definitely go over that, and I've already pre-programmed some of that stuff. So like, yeah, if there's any changes that you need, like as far as turn signals and stuff, let's just put them in right now.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
I like it.
Just to have. I mean, I'm trying to think like what other features are like kind of necessary
For
street driving that like a race car wouldn't have. Windshield wipers was one of them. I said that earlier, but I think the motor for the windshield wipers was kind of shot, and we just ditched it. We'll have it on there, or I might remove them, but we're just not gonna run windshield wipers. And I'm probably gonna have like a big sticky tire in the back, an R888 or something that I wouldn't drive in the rain anyway, so not a big deal. Can you think of anything off the top of your mind that like we would need to add? Like turn signals would be one of them.
Maybe like reverse lights.
Reverse lights, yeah.
If you need.
Would it have that if you put it in reverse?
I think
if we threw it in reverse here.
Right.
How would like see my mind? I'm like, how would you even?
It's factory gearbox for the most part, right?
Yeah,
so
it
it's
is.
gonna have the
It's the
reverse light
RB25.
switch, and that's already pre-wired. So I'm just running through my head. Yes, all I got to do is I could literally make the switch be your reverse switch, and then boom, output for taillights. Easy.
See, that right there is like, man, wiring. Whew. I got it.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh, carry the 3 divided by 2. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
you just need an input and you need an output, right? So the input's gonna be our reverse light switch on your gearbox, which I do have wired. And then the output is just gonna literally be the bulb. So you just need an input equals an output. And that's really kind of all it boils down to.
Science. Science, everyone. Creating something that's never been done before and Dan just trying to figure out the best way to make it happen takes time, but it's coming back soon. I wanted to make this video because the next video you'll see of this car, it will be starting for the very first time, which I know is what everyone is dying to see. So it's coming very, very soon. I also want to give a big thanks to a bunch of the parts companies who made this possible. Garrett supported us from the start. DW has been supporting us from the start. Make everything from pumps, injectors, fueling related. They have everything covered for you. Also, Radium got behind and also helped give us some parts and support this build that Dan uses in all of his race cars. So big thank you to Radium. And of course, Ryan. Where can they find all the stuff that you make for cars? They can upgrade their cars, fix wiring issues. Where can they find all that stuff?
Rywire.com.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. And then if you want to hit up my Instagram, it's Rywire_motorsport_electronics. Follow me on IG. I do have a YouTube channel, Rywire. And then, yeah, man, I'm pretty sure you'll find me.
Everything's linked down below. So if you guys didn't catch anything, everything's linked. You can't miss it. We've been using Ryan stuff on all of our cars, and a lot of the guys from Thought I'll use it too. And if you have questions, be sure to reach out. He can help you with whatever you need, and top quality stuff to make sure your cars don't blow up. That is what is necessary here. I hope you boys enjoyed today's update video about the Mustang. I know there was a lot of information, there was a lot of things we went over today, but I wanted to kind of go in depth a little bit and really talk about the wiring harness from Rywire, because I just think that thing is so cool, and without Ryan's help and dedication towards this project, the thing would never come to life, because just adding that is just, it's weird because the cars that we normally deal with have wiring harnesses, have ECUs and stuff, and it's cool to think of a car that never came with that, to implement that and to add that and just add a whole modernized feature to a car that's so old is just, to me, is so fascinating. Big thank you to all the partners. I know I just said this when we were at the shop, but without them this wouldn't be possible. And the next time you guys are gonna see this car, it's literally gonna be starting for the first time, and we finally get to take it home. Too many projects that have not been here, too many cars that have been done in too many other places. We're all bringing it back, boys, okay? No more. We're ending that, bringing it home to dial it in. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and keep moving forward.